Poets grieve deeply because they love deeply and choose to express that grief. The Psy label that depression, turn the poet's weight of words into a lie of chemical imbalance. Poets experience purple euphoria in order to write the most exuberant lines, and the Psy want that blocked out with neurotoxins that shut the poet down, labelling exultant poetry as mania. Poets want to open a window to the world. The Psy want to seal everything. So the breath of poetry suffocates in the Psy's toxic air conditioning. Psychiatrists dictate what people should do, while poets want the world to think freely. The poet does the opposite to the Psy. So the Psy wants the dreamy poets to die. Poetry should not be medicalised. Poetry is where people connect. Psychiatry institutes a disconnect and inflicts atrocity that should be criminalised. Psychiatrists are paid highly through our tax to label poets who get a tiny sum from the government coffers, label them a burden, even while exploited forcibly by Psy for lucrative, cruel human research. Poets look for the wise. Psychiatrists slap orders, violate, pollute, devise a scam of disease on humanity. Poets are murdered by mandated products, yet the Psy keep claiming to be saving lives. Psychiatrists want more money for their beds, yet poets want the right to refuse. The right to refuse psychiatrists' products, procedures, programs, and their bloody perverted beds. Psychiatrists break down poets into agreeing torture is good for them in order to be allowed a pencil and paper. Psychiatrists never have the soul of a poet. Attempts of poetry by the Psy drip with the blood of violated poets' lives. Poets who were silenced by Psy, singing their cries behind locked doors. The Psy's cold attempts at poetry just a theft, devoid of a muse. Jung was not creative, never a poet. He stole from the women he violated, women who were labelled ill by him for their poetry, inner creativity, internal rhythms that the Psy call hysterical, to be removed, taken, made the property of Psy. Much rather be under the pen of a poet than the dirty, callous pen of a Psy. Much rather be under the pen of a poet than the dirty, callous pen of a Psy. Poetry defends human rights. Psychiatry obliterates human lives. Buy a book of poetry. And it can last forever. Go to a psychiatrist and you'll be their specimen forever. A book of poetry can uplift your life, give you insight, knowledge and sense. Go to a Psy and they'll be having you down into an ill thing for liking poetry. So the Psy can use you for vile, cruel exploits. Psychiatrists put everything into bureaucratic terms that fail poetic license. Poets share a love of language. Psychiatrists share an abuse of power, an attempt to control organic language. Poets create love, beauty and togetherness. Psychiatrists create fear, loathing, and a myriad of ways to torture a poet into obedience with the rule of Psy. A psychiatrist's pill doesn't produce poetry. That neurotoxic pill causes the killing of maiming of too many poets. Poets are not tortured people, quite inverse. Poets are only tortured when psychiatrists are torturing them, demanding the poets say that torture is for their own good and that they will curb their poetic ways. Of the way Psy conduct themselves, poets believe is conduct unbecoming a poet, but poets don't violate Psy just because they don't like them, just because we criticise them.